Comedy, drama, action. Will Smith can do it all. One of the most beloved celebrities in the business, the Fresh Prince knows what it takes to excel in music and film.
Is there anything that I'm not good at? I'll call you when I find it, baby.
He became the first actor in history to star in 8 films in a row that grossed over $100 million. Starting out as one half of the hip-hop duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, he has gone on to become one of the most popular actors in showbiz, while staying relatable and down-to-earth throughout his entire career so far.
He's the only actor to have 8 consecutive films that have grossed domestically over $100 million. He's had 11 films consecutively gross $150 million internationally. And he's also had 8 consecutive films, which he has starred in, that have opened as #1.
Trying to expand as an actor, trying to expand as an artist, to be able to bring stories to the screen that you know, add to people's lives, that, you know, work in service to humanity. So there's a couple turns here and there I'm going to have to make to keep my quality at a certain level. So
he researched, what did the top box office grossing actors have in common? What were those characteristics that made them have the kind of bankable careers? And so he used that as really his foundation when he started to move from music to acting.
my motto is, and has always been, if you stand next to someone who's an Oscar caliber actor, eventually people are gonna say, hey, damn, Will must be an Oscar caliber actor. You know, so it's like that. I'm just trying to surround myself with the best people, and, you know, they'll bring the best out of me.
With a career spanning over 3 decades and still maintaining his popularity, Will Smith has gained support from millions, providing top-class entertainment and a relatable image that we just can't get enough of.
What I want to represent, you know, as I ride down, you know, waving and everything, I want to let them know that I represent the youth, and I represent success in America. I stand for someone that had a dream, looked forward to their dreams, worked hard, and was positive, and came out on top. And that's what I want people to see when I'm riding down here this morning.
Will Smith, born Willard Carroll Smith Jr., is a triple threat in the entertainment industry, solidifying himself as a successful rapper, actor, and producer.
I was raised in a really military household. You know, we had hospital corners on the end of our beds, and the, you know, shoes lined up, the whole deal. So I'm going to be that type of dad.
Growing up in West Philadelphia, Smith had a stable upbringing, attending a private Catholic elementary school.
He came from quite humble means. His dad was a U.S. veteran and a refrigerator repairman, and his mother was a school administrator. He was the oldest of 3 kids, and one of the things that is not really emphasized enough about him is what a smart guy he is. He actually could have gotten into MIT, but he decided not to because he wanted to pursue rapping, which I'm sure went over really well with his parents.
Developing an interest in music from a young age, Will Smith started as an MC for the hip-hop duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
2, 1, 2, DJ Jazzy Jeff and yours truly, the Fresh Prince, are making an addition to all the events of the past and present musical eras. We want the young and the old to hear us as we blend to different styles of music. Never will another group be able to do this the way doing things. The present with the past.
Collaborating with his childhood friend, Jeffrey DJ Jazzy Jeff Towns, as a turntablist and producer, Smith began his rap career.
he actually had a turn of fate that kind of changed the whole trajectory of his music career. He was at home one night and he hears this house party that's going down a couple houses down in his neighborhood. And he gets down there, and who's on the turntables but Jeffrey Towns, AKA Jazzy Jeff. And Jazzy Jeff was a little bit irritated because his MC had not shown up that night, was running late. So Will Smith, in typical Will Smith, good businessman acumen, swoops in and takes the MC position to fill in for the person that was not there. And the two of them just spark it off. They had amazing chemistry together.
Philadelphia-based label Word Up Records released their first single in late 1985, called Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. For this, Smith became known for his lighthearted storytelling raps and battle rhymes, which were all profanity-free. The single became a hit a month before Smith graduated from high school.
When I first started writing rhymes in probably 80 is when I really first started to sit down and write rhymes, and I was writing raps in my book, and I had my 4-letter words in there. You know, I was writing all my stuff, and my grandmother found my rap book, and she wrote a letter in the back of my rap book. She said, "Dear Willard," that's my grandmother called me Willard. She said, "Dear Willard, truly intelligent people do not have to use words like this to express themselves. Show the world that you're as smart as we think they are." So, and I decided, okay, all right, Grandma, you're right.
Based on this success, the duo were brought to the attention of Jive Records. The duo's first album, Rock the House, debuted on Jive in March 1987. They received their first Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance in 1989 for Parents Just Don't Understand.
I said, "Mom, what are you doing? You ruined my rap." She said, "You're only 16, you don't have a rep yet." I said, "Mom, let's put these clothes back, please." She said, "No, you go to school to learn, not for a fashion show." I said, "This isn't shining off. Come on, Mom, I'm not Bowser, Mom, please. But back the bell-bottom Brady Bunch trousers. But if you don't want to, I can live with that. But you gotta put back the double-knit reversible slacks."
There's an element of joy in what he's doing. He's not talking about hard things. He's not talking about political things, but there's something that's very relatable regardless of where you come from in all of his music. So whether he's talking as a teenager about your parents not getting what you're doing or girls being a pain in the ass to date, that's something that everybody can relate to.
Their most successful single was Summertime, which earned DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince their second Grammy, and peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I think it's one of those anthems that will be around longer than any of us are because of those things. He doesn't have the swears in it. He doesn't have any language in it that could be questionable. It's something that everybody can like. And that, I think, again, this shows Will Smith's intelligence. This was not accidental. This is very calculated to make it a big hit. And it ended up going to number 4 on the Billboard chart.
2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. There's an air of love and of happiness, and this is the Fresh Prince's new definition of summer madness.
Despite being carefree and running into some money troubles in his younger years, Will Smith has built up his career to become one of the most successful names in Hollywood.
After you've fallen off and you've had money and been broke and had a hit record and then made records that people don't want to hear, you just be so happy when people want to hear your stuff. It's just, you're thanking God every day and you kind of appreciate it more. And I was younger then, I'm a man now. I'm a man. As you can tell by my shirt, this is only a real man could wear this shirt.
Will Smith was struggling financially in 1990 when the NBC television network signed him to a contract and built a sitcom around him titled The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. The show launched Smith into a successful acting career as it was extremely popular with audiences.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute
just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
The series starred Smith as a fictional version of himself, a street-smart teenager from West Philadelphia who is sent to move in with his wealthy aunt and uncle in their Bel Air mansion. It first aired September 10, 1990. The series ran for 6 seasons, completing 148 episodes. It often approached controversial topics with a comedic spin, but still managed to bring appropriate attention to them. The theme song to the show, written and performed by Smith under his stage name, The Fresh Prince, has become one of the most memorable raps to date, and Smith explains that he knows it is what he will always be most famous for.
So when it came time for the different names of the characters in The Fresh Prince to be decided, Alfonso Ribeiro said to Will, he said, you should name your character Will Smith because people are going to be shouting it at you when they see you in the street or whatever. And of course, Alfonso already had that experience from being a child actor and growing up in front of the camera. And Will thought about it and he's like, okay. So he went with his actual name for the character he plays in The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And it's interesting because there's anecdotes about him and Alfonso later on would be walking down the street and people would be like, Will, Carlton. So they would be screaming out the character names. But I think another thing that really helped with is it really kind of cemented that idea of people. They were growing up watching Will Smith grow up, but it also in that atmosphere and that framework, he was safe, he was relatable, he seemed like someone they could know or they seemed like he could be them. So that also kind of solidified that Will Smith brand at a fairly early time in his acting career. It also blew up him as an artist as well, because more people were seeing him. He was coming into their house every single week, and it set him on the trajectory to do acting.
The show did a great job of addressing controversial issues, including great comedy, but also playing to emotional storylines. One of the most remembered episodes, Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse, shows Will's dad leaving his life once again after appearing for a brief period of time.
Any doubt that Will Smith had the chops to be a serious actor were completely put to rest in a specific episode on The Fresh Prince, where the Fresh Prince's father comes back into his life and then leaves again. And Will Smith goes completely off the script of what had been written for him to perform in that scene and does an improv where he's crying, he's breaking down, and it just was so moving that everybody on the set was absolutely just shocked, but like in a good way, like, oh my goodness, this is incredible.
Right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come you don't want me, man?
That was a real defining moment in his acting career. It showed he could do more than just read pages. He could actually evoke those things, those human emotions, in a very, very natural and believable way.
The episode was so emotional, leaving the live audience in tears. Many people believed Smith's monologue was based on his own life experiences, but he clarified that he had a happy childhood and his own father was very present in his life. In 1992, Will Smith married Cherie Zampino, and they welcomed a son, Willard Carroll Smith III, known as Trey, on November 11th, 1992.
This is the real bad boy.
Oh, he wants bad boy. Thank you.
Hold on, Trey. Tell me something. Bad boys.
Bad boys gonna do what you gotta do. I'm coming for you.
You got a future. You want to say it?
Bad boys gonna do what you gotta do when they come for you.
He's a rapping junior here.
Following on from The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Smith appeared in his first major roles in 6 Degrees of Separation in 1993 and Bad Boys in 1995.
In the 90s, there was kind of a rift between television and movies. So it was seen as a big thing when an artist would jump from music to TV or music to the movies. And it was seen as another big jump if people were to go from TV to movies. Like movies was like the ultimate thing that you could do.
I enjoy doing television. I'll do television, you know, as long as people enjoy seeing it. I'm going to make my progression slowly into films. The television is a great job.
Bad Boys was a worldwide success, grossing over $141 million at the box office. However, the critical reception was mixed.
Let's try to do this right. No gunshots, no dead bodies. Well, you know, if I recall correctly, the last couple dead bad guys belong to you. Please, you ain't even trying to compare body counts. Should I keep going all day?
We really enjoyed ourselves the whole time. We went down to Miami, really didn't know exactly, you know, how it was going to be, what we were going to do. The script was really loose, so we had, you know, a lot of ad-libbing, so it was more work writing-wise than we usually do on film. So we went into it, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And you guys will tell me in a minute, or y'all let everybody know tomorrow whether or not it worked. It was like everyone knew that Martin and I had to put our stamp on this film. And that's what we did. We went in and we made it Martin and Will's, because it was originally written for John Lovitz and Dana Carvey.
No.
So, yeah.
In 1996, Smith starred in Independence Day. The film was a massive blockbuster, becoming the second highest grossing film in history at the time, and established Smith as a prime box office draw.
Him being in Independence Day in '96, he was cast as the star. There weren't two people in it. It wasn't an ensemble cast. He was positioned as Will Smith saving the world against aliens. And when that opened at #1, suddenly I think it was like, ooh, Will Smith is a really bankable star. And from that point on, for several years afterwards, every 4th of July weekend, which is when Independence Day came out, they would be like, it's gonna be Big Willie weekend, because another Will Smith film had been scheduled to come out. So it made the movies a big event, and it made Will Smith himself a big event too. And it's like, everybody likes Will Smith. You want to see him succeed. So that was another thing people were buying into when they were going to the films on Big Willie weekend.
In the summer of 1997, he starred in the hit movie Men in Black, playing Agent J. The film was a huge success and grossed over $589 million worldwide, against a $90 million budget. It became that year's third highest grossing film and received worldwide acclaim, with critics praising its humor as well as Jones and Smith's performances.
Creatures and monsters and all of that stuff are fun to be a part of creating, you know, and it's difficult working in a scene when nothing's there because they put all of that stuff in later. But like watching how kids go crazy over stuff like that is a real joy in, you know, being a part of this industry.
He researched, what did the top box office grossing actors have in common? What were those characteristics that made them have the kind of bankable careers? And so he used that as really his foundation when he started to move from music to acting.
My motto is, and has always been, if you stand next to someone who's an Oscar caliber actor, eventually people are gonna say, hey, damn, Will must be an Oscar caliber actor. You know, so it's like that. I'm just trying to surround myself with the best people, and you know, they'll bring the best out of me.
After his divorce from Cherie in 1995, he found love again and married actress Jada Corinne Pinkett in 1997. The pair married in a private ceremony on December 31st, 1997, at a hotel in Baltimore. They refer to each other as life partners, with Smith stating, "There are no deal breakers. There's nothing she could do, ever, nothing that would break our relationship." During this time, Will Smith also begun his solo music career with the release of Men in Black, the theme song for the film. It topped the singles charts in several regions around the world.
With the black Ray-Bans on, walk in shadow, move in silence, guard against extraterrestrial violence. But yo, we ain't on no government list, we straight don't exist, no names and no fingerprints. Saw something strange, watch your back, cause you never quite know where the MIBs is at.
If you look at Will Smith's music career, on one side, you could say, okay, he's tying a lot of the big singles he has, whether it's Wild Wild West, whether it's Men in Black, he ties them into whatever film he's doing. And in one way, it makes the song really tied to that specific moment, that specific cinema outing. But at the same time, you're kind of locked in space. It can't move around the same way that, let's say, Getting Jiggy With It can, because there's no real other thing it's tied to besides Will Smith. However, what is, you have to though go, that's an interesting business move, because by him having those songs and creating those songs for those franchises, from a publishing perspective and from a musical rights perspective, he's making probably a lot more money, because every time that song is played, he's getting money for it. When the song is written, he's getting money for it. So in a bankable way, in a purely financial way, it's probably a better decision to do it, even though those songs may not have the longevity and the love and enduring obsession that other tracks may have that aren't so specific to one movie.
Making records is more about you. When you're making a movie, you're more of a tool for someone else's vision. Someone else has thought up the story, and someone else has written the script, and someone else has signed on to direct it, and it's their vision, and you're helping them to see their vision. Whereas when you make records, it's completely about you. It's completely about what you think, what you feel, what you want to communicate.
His debut solo album, Big Willie Style, reached the top 10 of the US Billboard 200 and was certified 9 times platinum. The third single from the album, Getting Jiggy With It, became Smith's first Billboard Hot 100 #1 when it was released in 1998.
Seinfeld said Getting Jiggy With It on the Seinfeld show, and he was using it in the show, and he was using it to mean sex. He was kind of using it, to mean a lot of different things, but he said Getting Jiggy With It on Seinfeld show, and then that's when, you started hearing newscasters and stuff like that starting to say it with it, and the guy from ESPN, the black guy from ESPN started saying Getting Jiggy With It for all the football and basketball moves and stuff, and that kind of took off, and here we are today. The whole time, and I felt like I had something to say, but there were no records out there like the type of records that I wanted to make, with the energy and the vibe of the records that I wanted to make. And that right around that time, the Fugees came out, and the Fugees album really inspired me to get in there and to write and to do things that feel good and sound good and make people have a nice feeling inside.
The following year, he turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix in favor of a role in the film Wild Wild West.
If you look at kind of this trajectory from the mid-1990s, Will Smith has a bunch of hits. He has Independence Days, he has Men in Black, he has Bad Boys, and he's playing kind of the same kind of good guy character that saves the day, a police type authority figure in various ways. So it's really fascinating that he actually got offered the Keanu Reeves role of Neo in The Matrix, the 1998 film, and turned it down for the steampunk 1960s adaptation of the comic Wild Wild West. And he says he has no regrets about it, but who knows if that's really authentic or not, because Wild Wild West, nobody remembers it or talks about it. And Matrix, of course, is just a massive genre-defining movie.
Smith's second album was once again introduced with the theme song to his latest film, Wild Wild West. The album, titled Millennium, reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was certified double platinum. Despite continuing to release music, Will Smith was in high demand as an actor, as his career was taking off in Hollywood.
It's like there's always going to be people, you're always going to have detractors, you're always going to have people that don't want to see you succeed, and I just feel like there's a lot more people that are giving me positive energy, and I don't respond to negative energy. I just allow it to keep passing me by, and you fight fire with water.
Will Smith's second son, Jaden Christopher Sires Smith, was born in 1998. His first child was his wife, Jada. Only a couple of years later, in 2000, Will and Jada welcomed their daughter, Willow Camille Rain Smith, in October of that year. The pair have allowed their children to pursue careers in the entertainment world. Jaden and Willow have released music and starred in films alongside their father.
For me, you gotta I know you gotta let your kids go. It's very nerve-wracking, but it's for me, it's better that she goes for it at 7, 8, 9 years old, gets out there, decides whether or not it's something she wants to do, you know, rather than later in her life, you know. So it's time to go. It's time to go. Thank you.
In 2001, Will Smith portrayed heavyweight boxer Muhammad Ali in the biopic Ali. The film follows the life of Muhammad Ali from 1964 to 1974, exploring his career and personal life.
I couldn't figure out what the road was from Will Smith to Muhammad Ali. You know, if I were to decide today I want to be Muhammad Ali, what would I do? And I just, intellectually, I couldn't figure it out. And Michael Mann was the first person that really illustrated the road from Will Smith to Muhammad Ali.
Look how good I look. Ain't this just a perfect specimen of a man right here?
I want to be your motivator. I want to be in your corner.
What'd you say your name is?
Bundini. Rhymes
with Houdini, yeah, except that don't rhyme. I feel really good about the film. Ali is here tonight. He hasn't seen the film yet, so I'm a little concerned, you know, but I'm a little nervous, but I feel good. I'm confident in the film, and I just hope he and his family love it.
For his performance, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor and the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor Motion Picture Drama. Following a 4-year musical hiatus, Will Smith returned to music in 2002 with the release of his 3rd studio album, Born to Reign. The album's lead single was the theme song to Men in Black 2, titled Black Suits Coming. The single reached number 3 on the UK singles chart. Later in the year, Smith released his first compilation album, Greatest Hits, which featured the hottest songs from his 3 solo albums, as well as those produced with DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Rap music, I think rap music, I'm excited now. Rap music, we had a small dark ages there for a minute, but I think that the audience is now really prepared to deal with, you know, like when, you know, the Fugees came and there was more enlightened rap music and getting back to the original essence of hip hop that was fun and having a good time and partying.
2003 saw Smith return for Bad Boys 2, a sequel to the 1995 film. The film follows detectives Burnett and Lowry investigating the flow of ecstasy into Miami.
I mean, I think that what Michael Bay does that's really difficult and really interesting is he doesn't compromise the action or the comedy. It's a really hardcore, rugged action movie, but at the same time it's very funny, which is difficult to impossible to do. A lot of times if you have a movie that's too funny, you can't make people believe the depth of the action and vice versa. So I think Michael Bay did a brilliant job of balancing the film into what I believe will be the summer's best.
In the following year, he starred in the animated film Shark Tale and the science fiction film I, Robot. Both films were box office successes despite mixed reviews. Will Smith's next album, Lost and Found, was released in 2005, peaking at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 200. The lead single, Switch, reached the top 10 of both the Billboard Hot 100 and the UK singles charts.
Dad, where are we going?
I don't know. Last year, we had an intern score a 90% on the written exam. He wasn't chosen. It's not a simple pass-fail.
You're not quitting on us yet, are you?
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
All right.
Will was inspired because he saw Gardner on 2020, which is a news serial show in America, and he decided he really wanted to bring this story to a larger contingent of people. So that's how he got engaged with that particular story. And it was a great opportunity for father and son to work together, even though they were cast in their actual roles as father and son. But I think it also was a good way for him to spend time with his child and also teach his kids about not everyone is growing up in the kind of world you are, because you really have to immerse yourself into that kind of role. And in terms of acting, he got nominated for an Academy Award for that performance. And I think it showed another layer of Will Smith. He can do more than just the action hero role.
But you know, with having my son in this film, Chris Gardner's life and developing a friendship with Chris Gardner and how happy he is and pleased and honored with the film. So I feel like I'm in the right place, doing the right things in my life right now. You know, I saw the 2020 piece that on Chris Gardner, and there was a moment where he was standing in a subway bathroom that his son had spent the night in, and I looked in his eyes and I saw that he actually had command over the trauma, right? That he could stand in that bathroom and he was emotionally affected, but he was in command of the trauma and he still had swagger. And I had only seen that look 2 other times, and once was Nelson Mandela and once was Muhammad Ali. So I was very inspired to make this film.
I Am Legend, one of Smith's most popular films, was released in December 2007 and was the largest ever opening for a film released in the month of December.
I Am Legend, Will. We got to say it's done extraordinarily well in the States.
Yes, absolutely.
The best December opening ever of all time.
Ever. Leapfrog over The Lord of the Rings.
Which is pretty good.
That was pretty good, and I just had a dumb face when I was like, you know, it's like one of those.
Do that again. That's good. That's good.
Like,
I'm liking that.
When I got the numbers, that's what my face was like. You know, it's you know, you work hard on a movie and you want it to be successful and you promote and all of that, but this is beyond anything that any of us even imagine, and people are reacting and responding to the movie well. So, you know, they're just I don't even know what to say about it.
I personally love 2007's I Am Legend, which is a remake of The Last Man on Earth. And it's interesting because it got mixed reviews, but I think it really shows what a strong actor Will Smith is, because he is carrying for 99.9% of the film. He's the only actual person on screen. And you have to think about this different special effects that are using. He probably was talking to a green screen or acting against air. And his main only co-star is a dog for almost all of it. And yet it completely sucks you in, and I think is aged absolutely fantastically.
Well, you know what? What's a good thing about it is you can go and you can sit down, and the tension, it'll burn calories, right? Because you'll be digging your nails into the side of your seat the whole time.
A reviewer said that the film's commercial success cemented Will Smith's standing as the #1 box office draw in Hollywood. Will Smith again reprised his role as Agent J in Men in Black 3, which opened on May 25, 2012, his first major starring role in 4 years.
It's really great. This is the third film that I've made, so it's you know, it's kind of new territory for me, where you have something that becomes a part of the lexicon, you know, just something that anywhere, any city in the world, you put the black suit and the black sunglasses on and people say Men in Black, you know, so you know, it's fantastic to be a part of something that is living as powerfully as that. There's really nothing that's just like Men in Black, so I like being part of, you know, what I believe will go down in history as a really iconic film.
After the release of the film, Smith stated he was content with the franchise ending, explaining that 3 films was enough for him. In 2013, Will Smith starred alongside his son Jaden once more in the post-apocalyptic action film After Earth.
This is really fantastic, you know.
We didn't notice how cool it was until we saw the poster.
Yeah, that is funny. Like, working together was, you know, a great experience, but then seeing the poster was like, wow, that's really kind of like, has anybody done that before?
What was the thing about working together on such a big project that surprised you the most?
What surprised me the most? I guess for me, it's just the amount of getting to know one another, the amount of bonding that can happen in that environment. I hadn't realized how powerful that time, you know, 10, 12 hours a day, you know, for the past year together is just, you know, been beautiful.
Unfortunately, though the two of them together had been box office and award gold last time around, After Earth was critically panned. Nobody went to see it. And Will Smith has said of it, it was the biggest disappointment he's had, and it was a huge, painful failure. And after that, he took a 1.5-year career break because I think he was so upset about how badly it had been received.
After taking a short hiatus, Will Smith was back in action in 2015, starring in Focus alongside Margot Robbie. He played Nicky Spurgeon, a veteran con artist who takes a young woman under his wing.
When Margot first got cast, and Jada saw that Margot was 23, and she was like, "Boy, you better go to the gym right now." So she pushed me to make sure I didn't embarrass her on camera. So we got in the gym and we train a lot.
You looked incredible. The chemistry between you two as well was brilliant.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It just worked.
Yeah, you know, you can't buy chemistry, and you can't fake it. You either vibe somebody or you don't. You know, and Margot and I have really ridiculous chemistry on camera, which is strange. You know, it's like, because I'm from Philly, she's from Australia, you know, and I'm 46 and she's significantly younger than that.
Yeah, but you're Will Smith. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know.
The film received mixed reviews from critics, but was a success at the box office. In 2016, Smith landed a role in the highly anticipated DC movie, Suicide Squad.
He played Deadshot, and this was critically not the best received film, but it did well at the box office. It's based on the DC comic. It is a, you know, like it was an ensemble cast, so he was among a large group of people. Not all the pressure was on him. So that was the way he kind of eased back into acting after taking a break.
Months of advertisement and promotion gave audiences high hopes for the new villain film.
It was fantastic when you have a character with no rules, where he can literally say or do anything. As an actor, it's such a freedom to be able to ad-lib and create, and you know, no moral bounds. You know, it was a really, really great character to play. I haven't really played a character like that.
However, after a long wait for the film to hit theaters, it did not live up to expectations. The film had a star-studded cast, but failed to entertain critics, who had praise for the cast and makeup effects, but criticized the plot, direction, editing, and characters. Despite this, the audience turnout was great, and it became the 10th highest-grossing film of 2016. Later that year, Smith starred in director David Frankel's drama, Collateral Beauty, playing a New York advertising executive who succumbs to a deep depression after a personal tragedy.
Howard is a brilliant man, and he's not just a boss, he's a friend. He lost his child, and now he doesn't care if he loses everything else.
This might be the strangest thing I have ever come across. He writes letters.
Who are they to?
Howard doesn't write letters to people. He writes to things. Time, love, death.
Kids write letters to Santa Claus. It doesn't mean they're crazy.
No, this is therapeutic.
To get ready for that role, he did a lot of reading on religion and death and the meaning of life, and it turned out to be really, really handy for him and helpful. And you could say therapeutic, because around the same time his father was diagnosed with cancer, and so through the process of doing that role and also being there for his father, he learned a lot about, I think, himself, but also it was very good for him to be having to do those readings professionally in dealing with his own grief and watching his father pass away.
You know, it was you know, playing a character who loses his daughter during the time that I was, you know, preparing to lose my father. You know, so it actually gave us my father and I a great opportunity to bond over the ideas and discuss the ideas. As I was preparing the character, you know, I would have never been mature enough to be able to have the level of discussions and transition the way we were and be able to say goodbye in that way. So, you know, this is one of the most transformative films as a human being that I've ever done.
He called the experience of having to do this preparation and having it be there aligned with when his father was doing poorly as a beautiful way to prepare for a movie and an even more majestic way to say goodbye to my father. So I think that that's a really good example of how movies can be therapeutic, not just for the actors, but for someone watching it. If you know that's what he went through when he was actually playing that character, it takes on another dimension, I think.
You know what, it's a beautiful thing when you know, I feel like we created something special. So it's fun for me to present it. You know, when you do something that you know, it's entertainment, you know, there's a beautiful emotionality, but it's also the type of thing that if it hits a person at the right time, it can be helpful in someone's life. So, you know, that's not difficult for me to present at all.
Will Smith's production company, Overbrook Entertainment, collaborated with Netflix in 2017 to distribute his film, Bright. An urban fantasy film, it was the most expensive film for Netflix to date.
Sort of what I love about science fiction is that you can go to these fantastical worlds and spaces, and you can say things that in the world of Bright about our society that you normally wouldn't get to say, or it would just be too harsh. But at the end of the day, the movies, it's entertainment. It's fun. It's exciting. It's wildly creative. The mashup of these worlds, I think, is really creative, and you know, I do love some of the statements that the film's making.
Several publications noted that while critics were harsh in their judgment of the film, viewers seemed to enjoy it more and gave positive reactions on social media. Netflix announced that the film had been viewed more times in its first week than any of its other releases. 2017 also saw Will Smith join the infamous streaming platform YouTube and launch his own channel. He has uploaded many different videos, giving a behind-the-scenes look at his daily life and ongoings with his family.
Again, Will is someone that is a purveyor of the technology and always thinking business-wise of what is going to be the next thing and how he can continue to really rule his empire of Will Smith. And you really see this in 2017 when he starts his own YouTube channel. And he fills the channel with videos of him with his family, him doing everyday things, and it amasses millions and millions of views, in fact, almost 300 million views. And as we go into the global pandemic in 2020, you see him use that same sort of everyday relatability in a Snapchat program he has called Will at Home, which shows him doing Zoom calls with his friends, shows him taking out the trash, just like things you would do. So again, it's him always underscoring and continuing to make sure people know he is the most relatable person. He's just like you, even though he is the most bankable film star probably in the world.
In 2019, Will Smith took on the infamous role of the genie in the live-action remake of Disney's Aladdin. He had big shoes to fill since the role was originally played by the late Robin Williams, who delivered a beloved performance in the original 1992 film.
Robin didn't leave much room for improvement in the genie, so the first thing that I thought about was that it was going to be live action, so I knew there would be some opportunities and it would look and feel different being live action. And then the next thing, what I discovered in the process is that, you know, Robin Williams actually revolutionized what you could do in an animated film. It's like, you know, before that time, nobody was really using that amount of current references and things like that. He sort of created this omnipresent genie who had been forward and backward in time and had the full scope and breadth of time and human experience to draw from for comedy. So that was revolutionary.
The popular songs Friend Like Me and Prince Ali were recorded by Smith for the new movie.
Friend Like Me is how much it bends into other things. When we first went into the studio, I was really concerned about how I would get my signature onto the film, and then we started messing with Friend Like Me was the first song, and there's a hip hop breakbeat by the Honey Drippers called Impeach the President, and it's like a hip hop breakbeat staple. You know, the singing, dancing, drama, comedy, action, the adventure is everything that I've cultivated as a performer for the last 30 years to be able to do it in one film, and for a big chunk of it to be CGI. The great thing with the CGI is you get 2, 3, and 4 opportunities to get it right.
He absolutely made the role his own. It had obviously you could tell that he'd studied very closely Robin Williams' portrayal of the genie, and there's definitely homage to that, but it wasn't like he was trying to be that. He had his own flavor to that part. And I think if you had never seen the Robin Williams version, you would never know it was anyone but Will Smith, because he just completely owned it.
The film was released on May 24th, 2019, and grossed over $1 billion worldwide to become Smith's highest-grossing film ever, surpassing Independence Day.
I'm having a beautiful time. I got to be the genie in Aladdin, which is singing, dancing, rapping, action sequences, drama, comedy, special effects. It's like everything that I've amassed over the last 30 years as a performer, I was able to do in this movie.
In 2020, he re-teamed up with Martin Lawrence for the third film in their franchise, Bad Boys for Life, which has grossed over $200 million in the United States. Dubbed the most powerful actor in Hollywood, Will Smith has proven time and time again that he's got what it takes to succeed in the world of music and acting. Through hard work and infectious charm, Smith rose from local rapper to movie sensation, and fans hope he isn't retiring anytime soon.
You know, I just think, to me, that's how I judge the quality of the material and how people are responding to it. You know, people work hard for their money, and then on Friday night they go to the movie theater and decide where they're going to put it. And you know, a lot of times they choose my movies over a lot of other movies. So I take that very, very seriously.
One thing Will Smith has verified, he has the business sense, the charisma, and the overall talent to succeed in every opportunity that comes his way. Conquering the entire showbiz world from every angle, Will Smith continues to reign supreme as the Prince of Hollywood.